Did we really need a new Piltdown Man hoax in 2024? I for sure did not have this on my bingo card for this year. My name is Kaylee, and in this video we're going to take a look at the scandal that is currently unfolding in Germany, where an archaeologist allegedly manipulated archaeological finds on a large scale and thus deliberately misdating at least 21 skulls and skull fragments. We have bad apples everywhere. It's unfortunate, but you know, it's a thing. We have people misleading the public when it comes to history on all sides. The scientific side as well as the alternative side. And I'm very aware of the fact that we have good people with good intentions on both sides as well. It's why I prefer not to pick any sides, even though I lean towards the scientific method. I also just want to remain as objective as I can when it comes to history, so yeah, I don't want to pick any sides. It's fine. So it seems like a massive scandal is currently unfolding in Germany. A scandal which affects a lot of work and people and collections. All because one man wanted to present sensational finds to the masses. He wanted to be the discoverer of incredible finds, and in his quest, he duped a lot of people. But why was this so easy for him to do? That's the question I have in my mind. Well, this goes back all the way to the 1990s, and it seems like he was the main person in charge of dating the archaeological finds, and for whatever reason, there wasn't a second opinion or scientific testing done after he had reached his conclusions. This may have to do with funding or just limited time. I don't know. So back in October, the Interior Ministry in Mainz announced that an archaeologist of the Directorate General for Cultural Heritage is accused of having deliberately misdated 21 skulls and skull fragments. And the trigger for this investigation was a confidential request from a university that raised doubt about the man's dissertation that was written many years prior. So in his dissertation, he deliberately misdated 21 skulls and skull fragments, allegedly publishing them as being from prehistoric times, even though they were from the Middle Ages and some even from modern times. But it seems like this wasn't even the worst of his discrepancies, as there are now 18 more possible cases that have been added to this list. And this all means that 39 archaeological finds of possible historical significance might have been deliberately manipulated, meaning that our view of history therefore has been manipulated by this one person. The state called in external experts to help clarify the exact extent of the finds that were affected. Of course, as you can imagine, disciplinary proceedings are underway against the archaeologist on charges of knowingly manipulating the findings, and he has been suspended, while his doctoral thesis is also being examined. So what do we know about the archaeological finds that were deliberately manipulated and misdated? So the skulls and the skull fragments that were knowingly misdated seem to come from the Middle Ages and some even coming from modern times. Where he found these skulls from, like modern times, I have no idea, and honestly I don't think I even want to know. So yeah. One major find, known as the Neanderthal of Ochtendung, is unfortunately amongst these manipulated finds. So the Neanderthal man from Ochtendung was quite a major find and quite well known in Germany, as it was a sensational discovery in Rhineland that was published and announced to the public back in 1997. So it was believed to be the skull of a man in his 30s or 40s, and the skull was broken in 3 pieces. It was thought to have belonged to an early Neanderthal man who lived around 170,000 to 160,000 years ago. But after the external experts researched this skull and did a thorough analysis, including radiocarbon dating, they discovered that these skull fragments actually date back to the early Middle Ages. That's a 160,000 to 170,000 year time difference in the proposed dating that was done back in the 90s by this archaeologist and the actual proper dating of the fragments a few months ago by the actual experts. Massive difference. which really is a big thing. This is not to be taken lightly by anyone, especially not by the experts in the field of human evolution, as some of them may have used the work of this archaeologist in their own work, which is now flawed because the work of this archaeologist cannot be trusted anymore. He has deliberately manipulated finds. This all definitely makes me think about the Piltdown Man hoax. There are some staggering similarities, having one archaeologist with a strong desire to be on the forefront of groundbreaking discoveries. And while this archaeologist did not pretend to hold the missing link in our evolutionary tale, his wrongdoings will have a similar effect nonetheless. Because some of his work and some of the archaeological finds that he had presented were on display in museums and shared with the public, or used by other archaeologists and researchers in their research, and it's a shit show. This scandal highlights a growing need for rigorous verification in archaeological research to protect the integrity of historical scholarship. It also shows that underfunded institutions that are unable to do their own analysis and having to trust on the work of experts elsewhere is quite an issue as well. Having to place trust in others while they may have the ability to manipulate or misrepresent data without being able to double check can be a massive problem in the scientific community. Because the costs of second opinions on every single find is just simply too much. And universities are already underfunded globally in a whole lot of their departments. And yeah, especially departments like archaeology. We, the public, need to be able to trust the scientists, the archaeologists, the field workers. But unfortunately, as this scandal unfolds, it shows us that we cannot trust blindly, and personally, this makes me very sad. I want to place my trust in science and the scientific methods, but this is not the first time where my personal trust in the scientific community has been damaged. My sister is a paleontologist, as some of you may know, and in February of 2022, she published her paper on the last days of the dinosaurs in Nature. But 3 months prior, as I was visiting her in her home in Sweden in December of 21, another paleontologist in her field, one that she actually worked with during excavations, scooped her work and had his own paper published in scientific reports about the same thing. But there was a massive issue with his work. His data was flawed, possibly photoshopped, and the reviewers of scientific reports still let all of that slide through, while my sister's publication in Nature was delayed slightly because the reviewers were being very strict, as they should be. And I'm not naming names beyond what I've already disclosed about my sister's situation. If you want to learn more, there is more information to be found online, but as it's still an ongoing investigation, I've decided to not disclose more than the bare minimum to show my point of view and how my trust in science has been broken a little bit in the past. All of this has made me unconsciously very wary of scientific methods, even though I'm still a proponent of the scientific method as long as it's carried out correctly. Like I said in the beginning of this video, we have bad apples everywhere. It's very unfortunate, but it's just the way humans are. But it's also up to us to hold everyone accountable and to the same scrutiny, whether they're on the scientific sides and they're academics, or they are on the alternative sides and they're just independent researchers. Doesn't matter. Scandals like these are simply not okay and need to be dealt with swiftly. And hopefully more information comes out about this scandal in Germany. I would like to know the full scope of the forgeries and how this affected other works of researchers so that I can report on it in future videos. And all of this leaves me with one simple question to ask all of you. What do you think of this latest scandal in the archaeological world in Germany? Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what you think they can improve on or do better, or make sure that stuff like this doesn't happen again. With that said, if you enjoyed watching, then don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more of these kind of videos, and click that bell icon if you want to be notified whenever I upload. If you haven't seen my previous videos yet, then click the card in the upper right corner, or click one of the links in the description down below, or click a video in the end card. I would also like to say a massive thank you to my patrons and my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting me and being here with me throughout these years. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Might be a little bit delayed, might not come on a Sunday, but on a Monday or Tuesday afterwards, but we'll see. I'll try my best. I'll see you next time. Bye.